Hello, Jeremy here. This week I'm going to talk about another one of my fake pretend albums. Not by the Beach Boys, but by Dennis Wilson. It's an album that I've titled Behold the Night. It's a collection of songs that has long been known by another name, Poops, or Hubba Hubba. I know those were some of the titles that Dennis was throwing around for this album, but stupid. And while we're just making things up, why not come up with a better title? And I thought using one of his song titles, Behold the Night, felt appropriate. This is a very dreamy album, the way I've put the track list together. It's very dreamy, just like Dennis's look here. It's very dreamy. I also think you look at Dennis and yeah, there's some darkness in there. So behold the night, behold the darkness of this tortured soul. On the back, we've got classic picture of Dennis on a car. Feels like it's right out of Two-Lane Blacktop. And then we have the tracks. The track listing here. Go ahead, look at them. Look at the tracks that I decided to use. You know, you like it? Does it make you angry? You're probably saying, I wouldn't have chosen that one. I wouldn't put that there. Well, it's my album. I get to decide. You know, I took a long time trying to find the perfect track listing because, you know, it's work to put this onto a lathe cut. Once I found out through the Sail On podcast from the nerds on there, Will and John, that the album was going to begin with Ecology, or All of My Love, I feel like that really dictated the rest of the track listing here. And I know that there's some other tracks here that were supposed to come one after the other. These aren't all my ideas. I kind of used that loose framework to build out the rest of the album. And because the album starts, or was supposed to start with Ecology, that prevented me from putting other tracks on here. Other tracks that were really good. Other tracks that were even finished around the time. Sound of Free, I'm Going Your Way. I didn't put that on here. What else did I didn't put It's a New Day on here either. And I didn't put Baby Baby on here either. I kind of got rid of all those rocker songs. Not because I don't like them. I really like lots of those. But the more I tried to like sit them in with these other kind of more dreamy tracks, the more the album became inconsistent sonically. Just one man's opinion, okay? I'm not saying this is the only way or the best way. This is just my way. I'm going my way, okay? Side one starts with Ecology, like I said. Then it goes into Before. Before is not a finished song. I think it's a finished track, but the vocal's not finished. So you get a little bit of Dennis there. I do believe that Before was always supposed to follow Ecology. I think that was the plan. Baby Baby was supposed to come in here somewhere, and I don't remember where, but that's removed from the original intended track listing from Dennis. So sorry, Dennis. Sorry. And then you have Barbara. We all know that song. Beautiful song. What I Feel, which is another name for Make It Good. This is the stripped back version of that song. Not all the extra production, just Dennis and a piano. Lyrically obtuse. Does feel like at times Dennis writes lyrics that, you know, even he doesn't know what they mean. And sometimes, you know, that ambiguity can feel really artistic and evocative. And other times it just feels like, here's some words that I thought of today, and I'll put them over this beautiful chord progression. I don't love the lyrics to this song, but I love the melody, and I love the chord progression, and I love Dennis's soul as he sings it. Next, we've got I've Got a Friend. This is another one that doesn't have any vocals on it. But it's a great track, and it was a big song from around that time. I just feel like all 5 of these songs on side 1, they really flow into each other, and a lot of that was because there was some intention there from the beginning, from Dennis. I think it works. Side 2 gets very dreamy. Behold the Night. This is a wonderful song that we first heard on the Feel Flows box set. Maybe my favorite thing to come out of that box set. Hawaiian Dream comes next. That was also officially released on that box set. In Dreams, right after that. That is the original Cuddle Up track with Dennis's Cuddle Up vocal from the one from Carl and the Passions. And I think I got this track from Jiggy. He very nicely laid Dennis's vocal into the old track. It works pretty well. It's not seamless, but I like it. It's good enough, and sits there with all of Dennis's backing vocals that he did all on his own. Yeah, it's beautiful. Sounds great. That goes into Gone Are the Days. This is alternate title of 4th of July. Doesn't have Carl's lead vocal on it. Instead has a guitar kind of playing the melody. Beautiful. Again, dreamy. This whole second side is super dreamy. That goes into Wouldn't It Be Nice to Live Again, which closes out the album. It's hard to think of another song that would be better to close out the album with. Wouldn't It Be Nice to Live Again. Anyways, like I said, these are the songs that I chose. I also was limited by how many songs I could fit, onto this lathe cut. Because a lot of these songs are pretty long. They're long songs. And they take up a lot of room on the disc. So yeah, if I had a little bit more room, would I have put maybe some of those other more upbeat tracks? Yes. But I also appreciated being limited by the disc space because I feel like it forced me to really order this in a way that felt sonically cohesive. Like I said earlier, I could put It's a New Day or Sound of Free or I'm Going Your Way on here, but it really does start to sound like a different album when you do that. And instead, what we get here is just Dennis's soul on full display through his music, through his voice, and it's beautiful. Now, a lot of people want to talk about if this album had come out, how would it have done? Would it have been better than Pacific Ocean Blue? Impossible to say, of course, but it's fun to think about. I love Pacific Ocean Blue. I think we're getting a much different Dennis Wilson on Pacific Ocean Blue. I think this is a softer, kind of sweeter, I won't say more innocent Dennis. I don't know if Dennis was ever truly innocent, but a little less edge and darkness going on with this collection of songs. It's different. I think Dennis was really into the ballads around this time. And even some of the more up-tempo songs that he was coming up with had a lot of kind of quieter, sweeter sections to them. He doesn't have the incredibly raspy voice. You might say some of the arrangements on this album are a little bit more syrupy, a little bit more saccharine. But that was Dennis's thing around this time. And I do think you can say that about some of Dennis's songs from this period. But for the most part, he was coming up with some, I think, really interesting chord progressions that even if the arrangements brought them down a little bit, he was still doing interesting things musically. If this one had come out, it's so hard to say because, we don't have finished vocals on a lot of these songs. And we don't know what the ultimate track listing would have been, which songs Dennis would have chosen to have sit together. But either way, it's a beautiful collection of songs, and it's cool to see a different side of him, something different than what we got later around the Pacific Ocean Blue Bamboo period, and you get to hear his voice kind of in its prime. If you were going to make a Dennis Wilson album from this time period, what would your track listing be? I guarantee you it's probably going to be different than what I put here, but I'd be really interested to know which songs you would choose and what order. So feel free to leave a comment down below and let me know. That's it for this week. I think next time I might delve into my friend's LP collection. So look forward to that. All right. Have a good week.